Hello everybody, welcome to another video of Crossover. Today we will be talking about the second part of our testimony. If you haven't heard the first part, go check that out in the second video. That's obviously named. So, I guess we begin. So, we left off where I was talking about my elementary year, just having ADHD, my teachers not knowing what to do with me. So I guess now we start with my 6th grade year. So 6th through 7th, I was dealing with a lot of bullying, and it was very, very, like, I guess not severe, but it was pretty bad. And at that time, when I started getting bullied a lot more, our prayer, we started praying a lot more. Well, not a lot more, but a little bit more. We started reading the Bible a little bit more. Just getting that little bit closer to God. But it wasn't enough. Obviously, it was not enough. And there was this one instance, I think it was in 7th grade. 7th grade, as, the bullying was continuing, there was this one time where some kid got another kid to beat me up after school. Well, that was kind of all talk, because a few days later, I got sent out of class, for talking, because I wasn't that great of a kid, even then, still a little bit of ADHD, a little bit, but, I got sent out of class, and I was sitting on the planters, and these planters, they're made of stone, like, kind of a concrete kind of thing. And, I look over to my right, and I see the kid that was supposed to beat me up, and he was over there, hitting his fists on the planter. And he called me over there. He was like, hey, come here. And I was like, okay. I walk over there, and I sit next to him, and he was telling me is that he had, a lot of issues, personally, and I asked him, hey, are you a Christian? And he said, yeah, I am, but, it's kind of like, well, he wasn't really, like, a super, like, not a super Christian, but he wasn't necessarily a good Christian, or, like, close to God, and, I asked him if I could pray for him, and, just, like, just pray over him, and I asked him if it was okay if I could, like, put my hand on his shoulder, like, praying over him like that, and he said, yeah, that's fine, and I prayed over him, and after that, he didn't really, like, he never, beat me up, nothing, and that was so perfectly timed, because this kid that was supposed to beat me up, I ended up praying for, and God just completely avoided that whole problem, which was insane, and it was like, I didn't really feel, like, any fear towards him, I wasn't scared of him at all, I just went over there, and I don't even remember if I, like, remembered that he was supposed to beat me up. I don't even remember that, but I remember praying over him, and nothing, God got me out of that situation with just a simple prayer. praying over the person that was supposed to beat me up. And, at that same time, we got, a lot of visions, from family members. And I guess I started maybe sliding a little, away from God. And our dad was a gateway for demons. He would do all sorts of bad things, and we were kind of like, that house, the house that we were living in, was almost like a feeding ground for demons, because, with us 3 kids, we're so little, I was probably like 12, 13. I forgot how old you were.
I think I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, and our dad was a gateway for a lot of demons, and it was almost like every night I was getting nightmares. I don't really remember them now, but I was getting a lot of nightmares almost every night. I was terrified of the dark. I was scared of so many things, as I mentioned in the other video. I was scared of so many things, and I was scared to sleep. I was scared to sleep because, almost every night I would get nightmares. And it was horrible. It was terrifying, as a kid seeing all these things almost every night. Our dad being a gateway for demons, it really affected us in more of a auditorial and like visual way. Like we were seeing things in the house, like figures, and we were hearing things. I started to hear voices, contradicting my own beliefs. A lot of them saying, like while I was praying, trying to pray or read the Bible or something, and these voices in my head were just continuing to whisper in my ear, does God really hear you? Is this real? Is this all real? Is God real? Can we even believe this? Can I believe this? Just contradicting my own thoughts. And we would see a lot of figures and stuff like that. For one instance, there was one time where I was sitting at my desk, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw like this, like, I don't even know, almost like a ball, like a dark orb kind of, like a ball, just like coming at my face out of the corner of my eye. And it was coming so fast, like it actually made me jump. And like I remember that night of me just sitting there and this thing just flying at my face, and it actually made me jump. I'm not sure why I jumped, because it was almost like something that was there and then wasn't there. It was like, it was weird, and it appeared, vanished, and I was scared. I jumped. And there were a lot of times when I would think like I'm crazy, and that happened like all in my room relatively, not only in my room, but like all around the house. I would see things, and it was very strange. It was very strange. There was one time where my brother actually heard something, and I'm gonna let him talk about that.
So, I woke up at like 1:30 in the morning, and I heard clicking from the hallway. And I got up out of my bed, I went to go check in my brother's room, and he wasn't awake, he wasn't doing anything of any kind. He was just sleeping, and I really wasn't that scared until I went over to the door, and like I just suddenly got scared, and then I went rushing back to my bed to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's really weird. I honestly think is that there was a demon in my room just sitting there giving me nightmares. That's why I think I had a lot of nightmares. Probably. I don't know. Maybe. But, and then after that, our dad, started to get a lot more distant, and we were praying a lot more, we even made a war room, from the movie War Room. We saw that movie for the first time, and we were like, this would be a good idea, and me, my brother, my sister, my mom, we made a war room, and we had all our prayers, everything up on the wall, and we started getting stronger in faith. But it seemed like as we started getting stronger in faith, stuff started to attack us more. And that was, the instance with, the demons coming to attack us. We started getting stronger. But as we got stronger, the devil started attacking us more because he realized that we were starting to become a threat. So, once we started getting closer to God, our lives seem to only get worse. But I will tell you this. Just because you're getting closer to God and your life seems to be going downhill, that has no correlation. Your life going downhill has no correlation with you getting close to God. You getting close to God just means is that the devil realizes that you're starting to become a threat, so he is trying to attack you. And he's trying to bring you down to his level, which is a very low level. And 8th grade year, I started to get closer to God, more so, and then our dad, as I said, became more distant and more distant until the point where he was gone for probably, I don't know, days on end. And, just randomly pop back, and then go back to work, as he said. And, until the point where he left. So, that hit us hard. And I remember, trying to hold on to him and pull him back, from leaving us, because that was something that I never pictured happening in our life. For 16 years, I know ups and downs in life, and that was for sure one of the worst moments in my life. Because, for 13 years, I never thought that anything like that would have happened. I remember thinking to myself, seeing all these parents and stuff like that were divorced, and it's like, wow, I can't believe that, parents do that, can't believe that parents, divorce, I can't believe that. And, I also couldn't believe it happening to us until it actually happened. And, I remember, trying to hold him, trying to keep him from leaving, but nothing. So, eventually, I just got to that point, where it was almost like I couldn't feel, not that I couldn't feel any emotion, but I didn't show or feel almost anything. I really didn't care about anything anymore. Once that happened, I closed off from a lot of people in my life, including my own family. I closed off and I just completely isolated myself, stayed away from everybody. I didn't want to be near anybody. I didn't want to be with anybody, and I didn't want to talk to anybody, I didn't want to talk to anybody about anything, because I just didn't want to, I didn't want to show how I felt, I didn't want to show anything, and it hurt me, and I got a lot of trust issues, and, after a little while of me isolating myself, God put someone into our lives, and of course, at first, I really didn't want to open up. I didn't want to open up to anyone, ever, I didn't think is that I could open up to anybody, because I don't want to open up to anybody for them to just come in and hurt me, I didn't want that to happen again, and that hurt me more so, and, we of course, you're stronger in faith, because the person that God put in our lives, they showed us the right way to live, they really, put us down the right path, and we started getting closer and closer to God, and my family members started to get visions, a lot of visions. The main message of all those visions was that God saw me. Continuously, over and over with all these visions, was God saw me. And that really helped me a lot, because with those voices that I was hearing, they constantly told me, does God even see you? Does God see you praying? Does God hear you? And what God said is that He saw me. That really resonated deep in my spirit. And that's when I started to get a lot closer to God. And that's when I started to open up more. I couldn't hear the voices anymore, even I started seeing some things, like almost visions or images, that God would show me. And in that time in my life, when I started getting closer to God, I read the Bible a lot more. I prayed every day, every night, all the time. I'm always praying, and I thank God that I am no longer in that position, because I feel like if I were still, in that position of me just locking down, staying away from everybody, trying to stay away, just putting up a wall, I feel like a lot of bad things could have happened, and I feel like, it really would have been bad for my mental state. So I got really close to God, and here I am now. So my brother is going to give his side of the story.
I left off where 1st through 3rd grade, I was talking about my relationships with my siblings and my parents. And by the end of 3rd grade, that was when my dad left, and it just messed up our whole family. And I was a horrible kid from then on. Like, horrible. Like, I was rude. I had a hard time listening. And I was just a bad kid after all that happened. fourth grade was the grade for me that we started getting closer to God, reading the Bible a lot more, praying a lot more, and we would get together every night and study the Bible and pray, and every Sunday we would go to church. And fifth grade, nothing much happened then, and then sixth grade is where I am right now. And in fifth grade, someone came into my life and it just helped me, helped us, helped our family, helped me to be a better kid. And sixth grade, where I am right now, nothing much so far, and ever since I was born, my tear duct didn't fully form, and my eye has been watery since then, and I had to go to the eye doctor. They checked me, and they said they might have to do surgery, and my mom said, heck nah, and because they wanted to put a tube in my eye, well, not my eye, like, I don't know where the part is, but somewhere near your eye, and then the reason was because we believed that God would heal my eye on His time, because it's on His time, not on our time.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the rest of my testimony.
Yeah. If you want to give your life to God, if you want to go to heaven, you know, when you die, then say this prayer with us. Dear God, I pray that you come into my heart. I pray that Jesus comes into my heart right now. I pray for the Holy Spirit to come down upon me, dear Lord. Dear Lord, I believe that you sent Jesus Christ to die on the cross for my sins. I believe it with my heart. I believe it with all I know. Dear Lord, I pray that you take away all this pain, all this sorrow, dear Lord. It's too much for me to bear. So, dear Lord, I pray that you take it all off of me. And I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Now, if you said that prayer, congratulations. You are now a son or daughter of God, and we welcome you to the family of God, of course.